Oh, yeah. Welcome to Big Boof Bets. Get That Money podcast. It is week 10. I am Nate Stephenson on remote this week. I'm joined by Mr. Big Boof Scureman. Big Boof, how you doing, baby?
I'm doing good, man. We had a very interesting week last week. Interesting is more on the positive outtake of it. Lost a few units last week. I was fortunate to get some back on a little rebound parlay on Monday, but
Packers suck.
Packers, man. Good Lord, the Packers.
I hate the Packers right now. many units.
Yeah, the Packers cost me many units. Oh, well.
Indeed. Damn it. Well, let's do a little rebound week here, baby. A little rebound week. Let's do that. But before we get going here, let's do a little recap here of last week of the carnage.
Yeah, we had three locks last week. We had the Panthers -3. They did hit. We had the Jets -3. They did not. They gave the Dolphins their first win of the season. And then we had the Packers -3, which I unloaded a lot of extra cash on them. They were in there to cover all of my action for the week. And they went ahead and lost as well. It sounded like a career worst game for Aaron Rodgers in the game, at least going into the fourth quarter when they were pulling up the stats. He only had like 80 yards or whatever.
Yeah,
but not a good week last week for us. So hopefully our viewers didn't lay as much on the Packers as you and I both did. But
I know, like that was the worst part about it. Normally, I get out of jail free stuff. Like, all right, like I'll have like 2-3 games I feel fantastic about. Maybe either buy some points, combine some money line, points buying action across a couple games, whatever. Like I straight up just like, all right, my get out of jail free stuff, which for those who don't know what I'm referring to when I say that, it's just basically me, just me breaking even on the week. I just did the Packers.
me too. I did them individually.
Just bet individually the Packers, and it's like, and then I watch them go down 3-0. The worst part is just like watching that happen. Like, oh, down 3, oh, they're only down 3-0. Up, they're only down 6-0.
Yeah.
12 at halftime. I'm a little leery. They're only down 12 at halftime. Come on, they're the Chargers. The Chargers suck this year. There's no way that they.
That's the thing. I took them on the money line to cover all this stuff too.
Yes,
it's like
exactly. It's like exactly. It's like they're not going to lose. They're 2 touchdowns. We're good. Chargers suck, and it's just like it kept happening. It's like that summarized. That would summarize my.
Hey man, that's betting. Every once in a while, you have a week like that. It is what it is.
Oh my God! Yeah,
looking forward to getting some units back this week.
Indeed, riding the highs and lows. It's time to get back on a high note this week, baby. Let's get going.
Yep.
So we're recording on a Friday night here. As I said, I'm on remotes traveling for work here, so this is our first time recording. Basically, through a web platform here. We're trying out some new stuff, so forgive us as we work out the kinks. But we're doing our best to bring the picks to the people, as my boy here would like to say. So
for the people,
do a little quick recap of this week so far. I said we're recording on a Friday night, so we missed the Thursday night game of the Raiders playing at home against the Los Angeles Chargers, not San Diego, Los Angeles Chargers. It was one of those ones like, you know what? It's like Raiders back home in the black hole, like Chargers on a short week after that upset loss of the Packers, just screams a letdown loss by the Chargers. And what do you know? They did not disappoint. Good thing your boy here picked the Raiders because he saw all that happening. And plus the Raiders actually playing pretty damn good this year too. So
yeah, especially Carr.
What's that, my man?
I said especially Carr.
Oh my God, yeah, absolutely. Plus I was very happy to be on the right side of the +1.5 for the Raiders. So we already have some parlays of one in the bag. So I'm very happy about that.
I guess I had the opposite. I had the Chargers, so I'm not happy about that. But Oh well.
As you always say, just make some more.
Yeah, that was. I mean, I didn't love the game, so I didn't go crazy. But you got to have a little action with the Thursday game. So
Agreed. Little action. Get some cake on Thursday.
yeah.
But all right, so now Thursday's out of the way, and one of us is happy and one of us isn't. We're going to be moving on to Sunday. And our first game here is we got the Arizona Cardinals traveling to Tampa Bay. The Cards are getting 4.5. The over-under is currently at 52. I love the Cards in this game. This is the game where I could see the Cards winning outright. So you're giving me 4.5 points. I am taking that and being very happy about it. I think Kyler Murray and the Cards in general seem to be improving by the week. Now the defense is performing a little bit better now that they have Peterson back at corner. I think you have a Tampa Bay team coming home that's, quite frankly, they're licking their wounds a little bit after that tough loss in Seattle. I think they went all out for the game they really thought they could win. Now they're Tampa Bay's 2-7, 3-6 on the season now, I believe. I mean, it's at the point now where they're getting really close to, mailing in the rest of the season here in terms of their ability to make a playoff spot. So you have to wonder what the team makeup, the mental makeup of the team is at this point. Jameis Winston, as always, you have to wonder if he's going to have a blow up game or if this is going to be one of those blow up games for him. And with the Cards definitely impressed me last week against the Niners at home. They continue to reinforce from what I'm seeing from them in terms of them being an improving team. So, yeah, give me the 4.5 with the Cards there in my top 5.
Yeah, I'm with you. And for pretty much all the same reasons that you said, I'll just elaborate on a couple other things. They have covered 4.5 points in 4 of their last 5 games. The one that they did not was against the Saints. And they were off to a good start in that game. They just kind of fell apart in the second half. As far as being able to handle Tampa Bay, I mean, when you watch them lately, it's been a lot of Winston throwing it to Mike Evans. I mean, just point blank. And like you said, I mean, the Cardinals have a guy in Peterson now that is going to be able to cover him, or you would at least think he'll be able to cover him. And so how is Tampa Bay going to be able to react to that? Is it going to be a huge Charles Godwin game or Chris Godwin game? Or is it going to be something where they struggle to move the ball and Jameis is over there taking sacks and fumbling the ball or throwing interceptions or whatever? So I could easily see the Cardinals winning the game. You're giving me 4.5 points. I'm definitely taking them, and they are also in my top 5. So that makes them our first lock of the week.
Lock it in, baby.
Let's get that money.
Didn't have the sounder. Had to do it myself. Got it.
Get that money, baby.
Get that money. All right, next game. We got the Falcons traveling to New Orleans. They are getting 13.5 points. The total is 51.5. Let's be real here. I don't think either of us have any doubt who's going to win this game. But it's just a matter of, are the Falcons going to have one of those BS backdoor cover late touchdowns to cover the 13.5? That's the scary thing. I mean, they were down 24-0 against the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks took their foot off the gas a little bit. Finished only within a touchdown. I believe it was 27-20. The Saints don't seem to do that very often, but still, I mean, the Falcons have some proud guys on that team. They still have some talent on that team. I don't think there's any way the Saints lose the game. I think there's a decent chance, maybe even a pretty good chance they still cover 13.5. But there's always the chance you could get a late touchdown from the Falcons here, and maybe a 10-point 13 victory by the Saints. So, which obviously does not cover 13.5 to 14 points. So, I'm shying away from that the spread there. So, Saints definitely to win. A little bit too rich for me on the spread.
Yeah, I mean, I feel similarly. I like the Falcons at +4. I have my +14 on the Rivers book. I like that more than you do. Not enough to go hard on it. I threw them in on one of my teasers on a 7-point teaser, so I actually have them up to +21 at that point.
Whew.
Which, like you were saying before, you're still afraid of it. uh, oh well, I mean, it's +21 in a division game. Like, come on, man, we got to be able to cover that.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, the Falcons aren't bad enough that you have to worry about them getting blown out every single game. I mean, and I think the Seahawks game is a prime example last week. They're not. They got down big and they still ended up only losing by 7 points. So now they got Matty Ice back. There's some proud guys out there. I mean, you don't think Julio Jones wants to have a better game than Michael Thomas, who's arguably being put above him now. Like, he still wants to let the younger guy know, hey man, you still got to step up to me. I think you got stuff like that going on too. So I think you have a proud team still going to put up a good fight for at least a little while in the game.
Yeah, I agree, and I mean that's why I lean them with the 14 points.
Totally. Can't disagree with the logic, my friend. Can't disagree. But all right, we're going to move on to the next game. We got the Ravens traveling to Cincinnati, play the Bungles. Ravens are giving 10.5 points. Started at 9.5. Liked it a lot better at that. Total's 44.5. As I just said, when the original line came out, it was Ravens -9.5. I like that a lot better. That's a big point going from 9.5.
That's a check point.
Big point. I know you had mentioned earlier when we were talking that the Ravens only beat them by 6 at home. Cincinnati had a late score to bring them within, cut the deficit down to 6 from 13 to 6. So, I mean, I don't know. I think it was one of those deals where the Ravens, younger team, had a little bit of they still were dealing with injuries on defense. Maybe took their foot off foot off the pedal a little bit. I don't see that happening here, man. Like, now that their defense has gotten healthier, they've gotten on top of that. Now they have Peters, so now you have Jimmy Smith and Peters at both corners. You still have no AJ Green. Now you have a rookie quarterback starting, who's, from what I've read, his highest ceiling is as a game manager. I mean, it's almost like saying, well, your best ceiling as a student is you might be a B- C+ student. Ooh, it excites me. Like, come on. Like, I don't know. It's just like, it's the Ravens are, I think they're looking to build on the statement game they had against the Patriots. Now I know, there are people out there who would say that, well, you got to worry about the letdown. Yeah, you do got to worry about the letdown. But what I'm saying is, I'm not. I think they're going to build on it. I think they have a team that's getting better and healthier, and a Bengals team that's just going completely up into tank mode. They don't give a shit. I like the Ravens here.
Hey, I understand where you're coming from, but again, it's 10.5 points. It's a lot of points. I am one of those guys that is worried about a bit of a letdown. I think some of the other thing, like another element of this, is that if you got a chance to actually watch the Ravens-Patriots game, the Ravens really unleashed the offense, and in particular Lamar Jackson in the running game. And you got to see a lot of different just little wrinkles with an option style attack.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something they're kind of keeping in their hip pocket for what they consider to be bigger games.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And it's cool when you're looking at like the blocking and everything, because it's fairly simple concepts, but they change which guy they're reading. And so the way like defenses are taught to play against the option, everybody's got their own responsibility, but the Ravens can kind of mess with that by changing which guy that they're going to be reading, as far as whether they're going to hand it off or have Lamar Jackson pull it and run, or nowadays throw it as well.
Well,
I think it's just something that like plays to, in this case, if they're not going to be using the full playbook here, in a game that they don't consider to be as big, so that they don't have everything on tape for guys to practice against. I think that's just something that's going to keep the spread here or the difference in the game tighter than 10.5 points. So I lean the Bengals here.
Okay, I mean, I can't hate on that logic.
But I haven't seen them do any of that kind of stuff in any of the other games this year.
Oh yeah, I mean it is almost like, you know what, we're gonna. It's not necessarily they're.
It's not like they're holding back everything, but they're holding back some stuff. They are.
Yeah, they unleashed. I mean, they definitely.
Against New England, they did not hold back.
Yep, and that's why. As far
It's kind of like when a team plays like Georgia Tech or they play like Air Force or Navy.
Yeah.
It's just you're used to playing a certain type of offense every week, and then all of a sudden here comes this triple option stuff, and it's just different. I mean, it's tough to practice. I mean, you can't practice against what you see from the Ravens when they do all of that. I mean, you're not going to have a guy that's like Lamar Jackson that you can line up in your practices.
Yeah.
Then to have your guys be able to block it, crisp and all that kind of stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I honestly, like, there was two things that you said that I definitely wanted to circle back around to. Even if it could be a touch closer, I think one of the safer things in related to that betting wise is, I mean, you can get the halftime full time prop bet at -162. I mean, that's basically all that is Ravens to be winning at halftime and the game. Like, I can bet $160 and win $100. Like, I think that's a very, very easily profitable, safe bet. Like, I don't see the Bengals scoring much. And even if the Ravens have let's just, say a safe offensive game plan, they just want to, they score some points and run the clock. I mean, I really don't see anything other than, major catastrophe or major luck happening for them to not be winning pretty much the entire game. So, I mean, I think that's a really good bet. And to circle again back around to one other thing you were saying, with them unleashing, unleashing the full extent of the playbook against the Patriots. One thing I didn't notice or realize until I was watching the game is the offensive coordinator for the Ravens now is Greg Roman. Roman was the OC for Colin Kaepernick when they were
with San Fran.
Yeah, exactly. When he had his year and they went to the Super Bowl and were running a lot of stuff out of the pistol and whatnot. And if you remember, the Ravens busted out a lot of pistol and unique quarterback running formations and almost spread option type reads. So I didn't realize that it was the same guy. And then when they said it, I was like, oh, wow, that makes a ton of sense. So, and the crazy part is as well, one last thing. So I know we're beating this one to death a little bit, but the San Fran played the Ravens in that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So, it's one of those things where I think Harbaugh's is like, I know the perfect guy to bring in here for Lamar Jackson because I've seen him. And damn, man, I think that's just that's a great job of coaching on his part to do that.
Yeah, it really is, man. I remember talking about it with you last year, and truthfully, Lamar has done better than I expected him to do this year. But my point last season was I applauded the Ravens for letting Lamar Jackson be himself and not trying to, throw him into, well, this is our offense and this is what we do, so you're going to have to learn it. They designed an offense for him, and then they went out and got players that are going to highlight what he does well too. So I applaud them for doing that, and they are having success because of it.
No doubt. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, moving on here. Next game, we got the Buffalo Bills traveling to Cleveland. The Bills at 6-2, playing 2-6 Browns. The Bills are getting 2.5 points. Like, are the Bills just playing?
I got them +3 on mine.
I mean, that's even better. Like, are the Bills playing a man down or something? I mean, do we know? Like, is the NFL suspended someone on the field? Like, why are they getting points? Cleveland sucks. Like, Cleveland, why is Buffalo getting points? Give me the points. Give me Buffalo. Like, I can't. There's nothing else for me to say about it. Give me Buffalo and the points.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I think that this is a game where, to me, it should be the opposite. It should be Buffalo -3 is what the spread should be.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear this stuff about, like, Cleveland's had a tough schedule and everything. Well, Cleveland finally got to play a pretty crappy team in Denver last week who had Brandon Allen playing quarterback. And it's the same old Browns. They take a lot of penalties. They don't block anybody. Mayfield is inaccurate. He's got, I think it was like 7 touchdowns and 12 picks on the year. I'm sorry, that is not a winning formula. And the Bills I like the Bills to win. They're giving me +3. I'm taking Bills +3. They are in my top 5. They are in yours as well, correct?
They are definitely in my top 5. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's lock number 2, baby.
Lock it in, baby. Lock it in.
All right, let's get that money.
All right, next game. We're moving on to the Lions getting 2.5 at the Bears. I literally feel like I can say almost exactly the same damn.
Same exact thing, yeah.
It's like, why are the
Lions should be the favorite here?
What?
How are the biggest favorite to beat like almost anybody here?
Yeah. Why? Why? Give me the Lions. Their only person that's hurt is their running back, and they still have a decent 1-2 tandem to make up for it. Like, give me the Lions.
Yeah.
Bitchke is still Bitchke. He's actually already changed his name to first name True, last name Bitchke. Bitchke. The Bears.
Yeah, man. Still the same. Yeah, I 100% agree. Furthermore, I do have the Lions in a teaser this week, which is going to be all of our top 5 that we already talked about, and then I'm also going to throw the Falcons in with it. But in the 7-point teaser with that, the Lions will go up to +9.5. And, I mean, the Bears might not even score 9.5 points, let alone win by 9.5. So I don't see any way that part of it screws up my teaser. I love the Lions at +2.5. Love them even more in the teaser with the extra 7 points. But
hey, man, Stafford's playing out of his mind this year too, man. He's playing. He was having.
Yeah, I think he's got 19 touchdowns and 5 interceptions.
Yeah,
I mean, when it's all said and done, if the Lions make the playoffs, he's a guy that I think you will have to throw in the MVP conversation at least.
Absolutely.
I don't know if I would put him quite up there with Russell Wilson or anything right now, but he's playing great football.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But anyway, they are in my top 5.
My top 5 as well. That makes him a lock.
Lock number 3.
Lock it in, baby. Get that money.
Get that money.
All right, next game. We got the Chiefs traveling to Tennessee.
Good to have them back,
Oh, yeah, my boy's back. It's like, yo, man, I'm so happy. It's like seeing a good friend, It's like, he's back. I missed you so much. Patty's back. Oh, man. The line has been adjusted accordingly because I grabbed the Chiefs when they were at -3.5. It's now up to -5.5 because Vegas ain't stupid and they know Mahomes is the man. So, yeah, obviously love the Chiefs to win. The only thing that gives me a little bit of pause on -5.5 is the Chiefs defense is still a little spotty. The Titans have performed a little bit better offensively with Tannehill under center. Oh, it's definitely one like I felt more comfortable with the Chiefs laying 3.5. The only thing the 5.5 makes me, a little lenient, a little hesitant with is more so not with the Chiefs, but with the Titans, being able to score some against a questionable Chiefs defense. So I love the Chiefs to win. I still think they can cover 5.5. I think it's, more likely that they will, but still, if you're hesitating a little bit, I don't like to put stuff I hesitate about in a parlay I want to feel really, really good about. So that's kind of my line of thinking there. So I'm going to pass on the spread, but you guarantee I'm putting the Chiefs money line in some of my stuff.
Yeah. My first instinct was to take the Chiefs here. But, kind of some of the stuff that you said, I think you got to have respect for what Tennessee's done lately. They are at home. And another thing that I would like to just see it before I start putting money on it is how Mahomes is going to look like after the injury here, because he wasn't quite himself when he was kind of trying to power through the injury for like 2 games before they actually sat him out. And it's just something that I don't know for certain without being able to see him play that he's necessarily back to 100%, or if he's just back to where he's like, I'm good enough to play, so I'm going to go out there, and the doctor said I'm not at risk of getting injured anymore. But you don't know if it's necessarily going to be something that affects his play a little bit. Yeah. So I would like to see it before I start putting any money on them. So I am going to pass on this game.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm passing on it as well. Well, moving on to the next game here. We got the Giants playing the Jets. I would say traveling, but no one's traveling because it's both our home stadiums.
Right.
The Jets are the designated home team of this Battle of New York, and they are getting 2.5 points. I can't blame that. I can't blame the bookmakers after them getting scrubbed by Miami, who doesn't want to win. Yeah, no. I don't know. I want to go Giants here, but if Ingram going down, that's one of Jones's primary targets. Plus, there's still no Shepard. The other part of that is like I do think, even though Darnold, I don't think he's very good. I think he's overrated. I do think he's bound to have somewhat of a bounce back game here somewhere. And the Giants secondary is really, really porous. So, I would lean Giants to win, but just I'm passing the game.
Yeah, me too. I've been burned on by the Giants a little bit lately, so don't have a ton of confidence in them. Like you said, Ingram and Shepard are out. So, those are kind of his top 2 receiving threats outside of Barkley. I don't know. The Jets stink, don't get me wrong, but I just don't have enough confidence in the Giants right now to be taking them.
Well, I'm with you. I'm good to move on if you are, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. The next game here, we got the Dolphins traveling to Indianapolis to play the Colts. Dolphins up to 12.5 points.
Woo!
Ooh, man. Dude, have the Colts beaten anybody by a touchdown yet this year?
They have not. They have not been involved in a game that was decided by more than one touchdown.
Oh, man. Give me the Dolphins plus the points, man. Fitz magic all day. No T.Y. for the Colts. You potentially a third-string quarterback in there. Hell, man. It might even be a sneaky home run money line parlay for the Dolphins. But 12.5 points, you can. I'll feel good about that. Give me the Dolphins with the points, baby.
I completely agree. Like you said, the Colts have not been in a game more than 7 points all season. The Dolphins' last 4, they have a win against the Jets. They lost to the Steelers by 13. Even that game they don't give them a free touchdown at the end of the half. They're covering, and they might even win the game just by the way it was going.
Yeah.
They lost to the Bills by 10, so that would cover, and they lost to the Redskins by 1. That would also cover. So they're covering that 3 out of the last 4. They've been playing better football lately. Like you said, T.Y. Hilton is still out for the Colts. We do not know yet if Brissett is playing or not. If he is playing, he's not 100%. If he's not, it's Brian Hoyer. All of these things, to me, keep the game under 10, which is good enough. So I like the Dolphins. I like them in my top 5. And did you have them in your top 5 as well?
I did, man. That is 4 for 4 so far in top 5.
That is lock number 4.
Lock it in, baby.
Get that money.
Get that money. All right, next game. We got the Carolina Panthers traveling to Wisconsin to play the Packers. They are getting 5.5 points. The total is 46.5. I think a bounce back game is in order here for the Packers after that stinker they laid in. I almost said San Diego again, in Los Angeles. Um, so Packers. I think they'll win. I expect them to come out guns a blazing, but I'm sure you can sense the hesitation in my voice. That's because Panthers are a pretty damn good team. So I mean, it's one of those things where as long as Kyle Allen doesn't have a San Francisco game, I think this could be a game that's decided by less than a touchdown. I know 5.5 is less than a touchdown, but normally games are decided by 3 or 4 when it's less than a touchdown, not 6. So that would make me lean towards taking the points with Carolina if you're afraid of taking Green Bay on the money line or laying the points. So as a whole, I'm passing the game.
Yeah, me too. I think you hit it right on the head. If you made me take it, I think I would take Carolina +5 because I do think this is going to be a tight game, but I don't know. It's just not something I have a lot of confidence either way here. So this is a pass for me.
Indeed. Moving on. Next game, we got the Rams traveling to Pittsburgh to play our Steelers. They are giving 3.5 points, they being the Rams. Total's 43.5. It pains me to say it, Boof, but there's only so many times here the Steelers can keep playing with fire and keep not getting burnt. And I think you have a Rams team coming into Pittsburgh here off a bye that is gonna take the Steelers at a woodshed a little bit here, man. Too many injuries. You got Aaron Donald coming into town, who is not only one of the best players in the league, but lots of times it's very rare when you have a guy coming back to his hometown, he doesn't like to put on a show. I want Donald to be motivated and wanting to put on a show because he's already good enough. So that's scary. You have no matter where he lines up, whether it's in the middle or sometimes they'll line him up outside, he's potentially going to be going up against a backup offensive lineman. Most starting offensive linemen can't handle Aaron Donald, yet he's probably going to be going against a backup, whether he lines up inside or outside. That's scary. Plus you have the Steelers with the injuries at running back. Now Juju popped up on the injury report today, so who knows what's going on with that. You have Jalen Ramsey, getting back to a Pro Bowl level, who's probably going to be locked on Juju anyway. You have as good as admirably as Mason has performed, he's checked down Charlie, honestly, at the moment. I mean, I think he targeted receivers or had 8 total completions to receivers last week. All those things for me, man. I just don't see the Steelers scoring enough to cover 3.5 points with the Rams. So I'm taking the Rams, laying the 3.5, and they are my top 5. It is, and I'm feeling good about it. On to you, man.
Yeah, I agree again, and you pretty much hit all of it, man. I think if you look at the Colts game last week, I mean, you're talking about 2 missed field goals, a missed extra point, and the Colts would have won the game and they would have covered. Now, woulda, coulda, shoulda, oh well. So the Steelers get a win, and that's all great. But I don't think you can expect the same kind of luck here against the Rams. And you watch Mason. Mason to me is clueless in the pocket. Like he doesn't feel a rush, and he doesn't have that clock in his head either. He just hangs onto the ball and takes
Mason it. Mason still acts like he's in the Big 12 when he's in the pocket.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And it's great that you're showing faith in the guys in front of you and everything, but you got to understand that this is the NFL, man. There are guys that can rush the passer, and they're freaking awesome at it. And like you said, I mean, the Rams got one of the best in Aaron Donald. So I just think from a matchup standpoint, the Steelers are in trouble. And I like the Rams to win by at least a touchdown. They are also in my top 5. And that gives us 5 locks on the week.
5 for 5, baby. Lock it in.
5 for 5, man. This could be a day of days coming up on Sunday, Nate.
Day of days, 5 locks. I'm feeling.
I can't remember the last time this happened. I know it hasn't happened this year yet. I can't remember the last time this happened.
Oh, I'm very excited, man. Lock it in. Lock Get
that
money. Next game, we got the Vikings traveling to Dallas for the Sunday night game. Kirk Cousins and the boys are getting 3 points, and the total's 48. So no Adam Thielen here for the Vikes. So that's a big one because I saw the 3 points of the Vikes. I was hard leaning Vikings because I mean honestly, like Cousins and the Vikings have been playing pretty damn well for most of the season. I believe it was around week 4. Since week 4, they've been playing pretty damn well. And the Cowboys, I mean, after starting 3-0, they haven't been. They lost 3 of 4 before finally pulling away late against the Giants last week. But the Giants are a bad team. It's one of those things where the Cowboys need to show me some better performances against better teams before I start to believe in them again. And this is definitely one of those weeks where they have the opportunity to do that. I mean, if the Cowboys can, win by, even win by, 6 to 7, 10 points here against the Vikings, then they all start to give a little bit more credit. But until that happens, I'm not a believer. I'm still leaning the 3 points of the Vikings here, but the injury to Thielen allows the Cowboys to focus on Diggs a little bit more. And although Cousins has performed a lot better, I still don't trust him against a better team without all of his weapons at his disposal. So the best I can do here is a lean towards the Vikings, but they are not in anything of that I feel super comfortable with.
Yeah, I mean, my again, this is it's one of those things where my first instinct was Vikings when I saw it, but Adam Thielen being out is scary. I mean, I will be point blank. I will never trust Kirk Cousins. That's just one of those things for me. The big game like this, I trust him even less.
Didn't that lose you a fantasy playoff game one time? Because you Kirk Cousins.
You know what? It may have. I really don't remember, to be honest with you.
I just feel like you did.
Not bad enough that I recall. I'll say
fair
that.
Fair enough. I might be trying to just twist the knife a little bit occasionally, but
yeah. Yeah, sorry, buddy. I don't remember that one. I did actually. I had the Vikings in my teaser as well, so that would have gotten them up to +10, which I really liked.
That.
And then I learned that Thielen was out, and I'm. It's a case where it is the night game. If that teaser is alive going into the game, I might just cash out at that point and not risk it.
Do we know if Van Der Esch is playing for the Cowboys? Because that would definitely matter a lot with how they can defend Cook.
I am not sure about that.
Okay. Well, then I guess since neither of us know at the moment, best recommendation out there is if you're thinking about betting this game, definitely see if Van Der Esch is playing because that'll definitely affect the Vikings offensively. So,
yeah, it's like if he's out, are you being like, oh boy, I love the Vikings now? And if he's in,
that's
you know what I mean?
Honestly,
we definitely would like to have the info.
Oh no, agreed. I mean, that's your point is definitely valid. It's one of those things where it's for people who want to bet a certain game. Like sometimes you're just looking for little cookie crumbs of do I want this? Do I like this? Do I like this? Let's face it. I mean, sometimes even me and you're a little freaky. It's like, you know what? I just want to bet on this game because I want to, so I'm going to look for it anywhere I can get it. And obviously something like that would definitely be an edge for Dalvin Cook, who's one of their best players. So not only one of their best players, one of the best players in the league this year. So it matters. But
yeah, it does.
Anyway, enough of that game. Moving on to the last game of the Week 10 slate, the Monday night game. We got Seattle traveling to San Francisco. Russell Wilson is getting 6.5 points, and that's not too often you can say that. Russell Wilson getting 6.5 points. Immediately I'm just like, wow. Yes, give me that because I never see that happening. I mean, he's having an awesome year. Seattle defense not what it's been historically, but man, I look at that with 6.5 points. But then again, the Niners are seem to be just getting better and better by the week. And even though they only beat Arizona by 3 last week, they were handling them pretty soundly most of the game. Like it was a combination of, I think, Arizona doing their thing late like they seem to like to do a little bit, / getting better. But at the same time, maybe Niners just playing a little bit of, you know what, we feel like we got this game in hand, prevent, whatever, chew up clock. So I think I just see there's not a scenario I can feel comfortable with saying the Niners are going to win by less than a touchdown. I lean that way. I lean that way as I'm going back and forth, literally, thinking out loud here. I lean Niners. I think they're going to win. I think they actually are probably going to win by more than a touchdown. But what it really comes down to for me is the Russell Wilson factor is what scares me away from taking the Niners and laying the points.
Yeah, the Russell the Russell factor scares me as well. I'm just less scared than you are, but still somewhat scared.
Slightly less minimally scared.
Yeah. But just kind of looking at the matchup of the game, I feel like when you watch the Seahawks play, you always see Russell doing a lot of Houdini stuff, running around. Russell's like the opposite of Mason Rudolph. Russell has an excellent sense of where the rush is coming from and where the escape lanes are and how he's going to manipulate everything to make it happen. Now, I think San Francisco has a pass rush and some team speed with their defensive line that will really make it difficult for Russell to do the types of things that he does on a weekly basis. So defensively, I really think the 49ers match up well against Seattle. Offensively, Seattle is like 13th or whatever against the run as far as yards per game. So, middle of the pack, 49ers have been really good running the ball. I do like the Niners to cover a touchdown. I am just worried about kind of what we were talking about before. I mean, Seattle will always play regard. They could be down by 13 with like 8 seconds left, and they will be going balls out trying to get a touchdown, even though it's not going to help them win the game. That's just how they play. They play every second on the clock, and I would be afraid of a backdoor cover here. So I am going to pass. But if you're kind of feeling the Niners, I'm cool with it. I get it. And truthfully, if you're feeling the Seahawks, I get it too. So that's why I'm passing, because I can see it going either way.
Doubt, man. No doubt.
I definitely like the Niners to win.
What was that insane Russell stat you were giving me earlier?
He has 22 touchdowns and 1 interception on the year. He's playing
that's
unbelievable.
Scary.
Yeah, I mean that's
stay
awesome.
Away from that. No way.
Yeah.
No thanks.
DK Metcalf has been heating up lately, though. I will say that his receiving core is looking a little
Donkey
stronger.
Kong is here.
It's like whoever plays tight end for them too somehow produces.
Now they got Josh Gordon too, man. Don't forget that.
Yeah, true. Yeah. So we'll see how quickly he gets acclimated out there, and what kind of role he's going to have this week.
Indeed. All right, so that's it for the Week 10 slate of games. Let's do a little top 5 recap here, buddy. It's on you.
Well, it is my understanding that we share the top 5 here. So we got the Cardinals plus 4.5. We have the Bills plus 3, the Lions plus 2.5, the Dolphins plus 12.5, and the Rams minus 3.5. All 5 are locks. Let's get that
5
money.
locks on the week for a day of days for this season, baby. Lock.
Hey, honestly, I like all of that as a teaser as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, that gets you the Rams basically in money line territory, so you'll get them at plus 2.5. And everybody else, I mean, you're getting all these extra points, man. Like 2 scores.
If you're doing a 7-point teaser, you're getting the Rams at plus 3.5. I mean, so.
Yeah, if you're doing 7, exactly.
Absolutely.
Yep. Oh,
that's tasty. I mean, then, I as I've mentioned to you, I think pre-podcast here, I also love just a little bonus pick here. I love halftime, full time prop bet for the Ravens at minus 162. I think that's also very, very.
I'm definitely going to be putting that in myself. If not a parlay, just by itself, because I like that pick a lot
Yeah,
as
I
well.
think if my memory serves me correctly here, is I'm mildly.
I think that's a good way to like slice that game because I didn't feel comfortable with the 10.5
Yeah.
spread, but something like that is something that like gets the payout in a very reasonable minus 162 number. And I'm a lot more comfortable with just having to have the lead rather than covering 10.5.
Indeed. I mean, so to throw one out for the people here, one of my uh, safer aggressive parlays, I'll put it like that, was I actually did 3 full-time halftime games of the Ravens at minus 162, the Saints at minus 200, the Rams at plus 120, and then I threw a Chiefs money line in there as well at minus 250. And $100 bet will win you $750. I mean, I feel that's something that I feel pretty damn good about. I mean, so you're getting me that much of a nice payout on things, 4 things I feel are pretty likely to happen. I'll take a swing at that.
Yeah.
I will definitely take a swing at that. But all right, buddies, anything else you'd like to add for the week here? I feel like we're teed up for a solid week here today.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to what is hopefully a day of days. Best of luck to you and best of luck to all of our listeners. Let's get that money.
Get that money.